Angels, and welcome back to Food Prep Friday. I'm so excited. I'm just so passionate about this series, and I can't wait to share more tips and tricks along the way, as well as the recipes that I create. To get started today, I have got a massive list. I'm not actually sure how realistic I am, but the whole point of doing food prep is just to kind of like get better at what you do, get quicker, and figure out what needs to be prioritized. And I'm not the best with my time management skills, so you can learn with me. So today I'm actually going to start off by doing some cleaning products. I've got washing powder and my dishwasher powder top up to do, so we'll get started with that. And then I'll get on to the baking. So I have a few breads to do. I will be baking my favorite seeded bread to freeze, and then I was going to try and do like a cinnamon swirl bread to also slice and freeze for the kids to have for breakfasts. Bake crumpets. So I'm going to make a large portion and bake it in the oven instead of pan frying it, and then I will cut it up into squares and freeze that for breakfast as well. I will be doing is a fig and cardamom honey cake that I will be sharing the recipe for on the blog. This is for my mum's birthday lunch tomorrow. And then I'm going to make my chocolate banana muffins because they are so great in the freezer. If I have time, I'm going to make some chocolate brownies to freeze, and then I need to caramelize some onions. So that may or may not happen. Let's just see how we go. I've also made the massive mistake of filming everything I do, and I don't have enough storage or battery life. So I'm going to be just videoing the snippets of what I create, and hopefully it all works out well in the editing process. Anyway, I've got my coffee, I'm ready to roll. Let's do this. Okay, so to start I'm going to make the washing powder in my Thermomix. It's like so simple, so great for having a cleaner washing powder. Super noisy. So I've done my washing powder. It's like all perfectly powdery. I'm actually going to mix it in with the comb. Right, that's topped up. Just mixed up the dishwasher powder as well. So I'm just going to top that up. Still need to get them. So here I've got my seeded bread that I've done in the Thermomix, and I have actually got a few other doughs going. So the crumpets are rising. I reckon they're almost done, and then I've got a sweet dough recipe that's going to be the cinnamon swirl bread, and that's a recipe I'm actually trialing for the blog, so that would be great if that works out. Anyway, so you just pop all of this amazing seeded dough, which is quite sticky, into this loaf tin. This loaf tin is such a good vibe. And sprinkle it with some oats and some more of the seeds. And then you just let it rise in the tin with this lid on. I'll just get the lid in a sec. And it just looks so good because it just comes out as like a nice square loaf. Can you see how seedy it is? It's so good. I'll show you once it's risen. So this is the lid. Slide it on, and I'm going to pop it in the hot water cupboard, and I'll show you once it's risen. I've got my crumpet mixture here that has risen for an hour and a half, maybe almost 2 hours. And I've got a baking soda and warm water mixture, which I'm going to stir into this. So aerated. Okay, that seems well combined now. I've got a large baking dish that I have sprayed and lined, and then I've popped some slivers of butter in there just to make it nice and buttery, like when you fry it in the fry pan, you add butter in. I'm just going to pour this over. And then you're just going to cover it in bread wrap and let it sit in a warm sunny spot for another half an hour, and then I'm going to bake it in the oven. As my beautiful soft sweet dough, so I'm going to make the cinnamon swirl bread in. That the seeded bread has also risen. How good. How good is that? So I'm going to pop that in the oven now, and I'll show you once it's all baked. It's such a good bread. How good does this look? It looks so good. I'm going to spread this over. I'm going to like tuck in these ends here. Just going to gently place it in there. Now we're on to the fig, honey and cardamom cake, and I'm just going to make this in the KitchenAid. This is such a good cake if you've got figs in season like I do at the moment. Some vanilla. Give it a mix. Now I'm going to add in the yogurt. Okay, so it's nicely combined. I'll just add in my dry ingredients. I've placed all my figs onto the cake. I've just pressed them in a little bit. Sprinkle with cardamom sugar mixture. And this will like caramelize the figs beautifully. Here is my cinnamon swirl bread. Just gonna brush it with some cream. You could use milk. I just had some leftover cream that needed to be used up. Or you could use an egg. So I'm going to go pop that in the oven. I'm about to make the banana chocolate chip muffins. Wow, like a banana chocolate muffin. Chocolate chips on top. So my cinnamon swirl bread is almost baked. The cake is almost finished as well. I'm going to do another batch of these muffins because they're so good for freezing. Here's my seeded bread. Absolutely gorgeous. So delicious. And that will last me 2 to 4 weeks in the freezer. My Bake Crumpets turned out pretty good, I reckon. I can cut it into thirds, because that would be quite a generous toaster size. And then again, there is my crumpet. They're quite massive, like a slice of bread really. So I'm going to freeze that. Next time I'm definitely going to double the mixture, so I get like, for the size tray I have, I get like a higher rise for the crumpets, and I might even portion them slightly smaller, but I just feel like for the size of this tray, this cutting it into 6 works best. But how good would that be with some butter and jam? Yum. I've just been grating some cheese in the Thermomix. That will be for meals for the week. I'm just going to slice up these onions, and they're going to be the caramelized onions for some gluten-free tarts I'm going to try and make tomorrow. I feel like onions are like a really great thing to have in the fridge, especially if you put them on burgers or sandwiches. It's just so good. I'm on the last of my baking. Got my last batch of the banana chocolate muffins, and I'm done. So the bread's been cooling down, and I'm just going to slice it, pop it into a Snaplock bag to freeze. That's me done for the day. So good. Okay, so I'm done. To conclude, I made a batch of dishwasher powder, a batch of washing powder, and I've made the gluten-free fig and cardamom cake, I'm going to drizzle honey all over this tomorrow when I serve it. I've made 24 banana chocolate muffins and 6 crumpets. The cinnamon swirl loaf, seeded bread. I've just cut it up. I wanted to show you how good it is inside. Like, so good. So I'm just going to bag that up. The grated cheese. I've done the caramelized onions, which I'm just going to pop into this jar. It smells amazing. Share how the bread looks in the center. I am a little bit nervous, but I'll show you. It would be so good toasted with like banana and bacon and maple. Otherwise turned into French toast. First things first, just to check how it actually works, is like a bread. Yum. Can't wait to try this. Here's a look at the food that we had for my mum's birthday lunch. It was so delicious. The gluten-free pastry turned out like perfection, and the fig and cardamom cake was delicious too.